The only time it seems that he throws the ball down the middle of the plate is when the hitter's taking.
And he knows.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, he is. You're not trying to make too much out of this, folks, but I mean, here's a guy who's going to win his 4th consecutive Cy Young Award. 4 in 4 years. Only one other pitcher has won 4 Cy Young Awards. That's Steve Carlton. But obviously, he didn't do it in consecutive years.
Strike 3 called in the inside corner. Maddux, who went 3-2 on the first batter, Orsulak, comes back and quickly gets 2 Ks and 3 quick notes. Mets down. Now this from Mobil Oil. David Telgheder will make the start for the Mets. David started the season with New York, optioned out to Norfolk in late April, came back up on August 5. It'll be his 4th game start since being recalled by New York. Telgheder will be facing Marquise Grissom, who will lead it off, the center fielder. Atlanta Braves coming in 85-50, 19 games up, just waiting for the playoffs to see who they will play. It'll be the Dodgers right now. Grissom swinging at the off-speed pitch, strike 1. Marquise has been on a tear, even though the average is just at 256. 14 for his last 35. Again, an off-speed delivery, foul back, and Telgheder goes up 2 strikes on him. Bobby Cox working in some of the players who have not played a lot during the year, trying to keep everybody active here as the Braves wrap up their regular season. Inside to him, 1-2.
Well, there is a danger. That's an interesting point that you brought up, Gary, because there is a danger when you clinch too early that you become stale by the end of the season and you go into the playoffs flat.
Got him. Telgheder gets the strikeout.
And we saw Marquise Grissom striking out. He'll be followed by Mark Lemke. Chipper Jones could be the Rookie of the Year this year. Fred McGriff batting 4th. David Justice, the right fielder, hitting 5th. Dwight Smith in left field batting 6th. Charlie O'Brien, the ex-Met, ex-Brewer, behind the plate batting 7th. Jeff Glauser, the shortstop, hitting 8th. And Greg Maddux, the pitcher, batting 9th.
And this is Mark Lemke with a 7-game hit streak, who stands in and takes the pitch down low, ball 1. And that surely can happen to the Atlanta Braves to me. Of the teams that rolled along here, they started out poorly but got righted early and then just kind of walked on into the division championship, and now just trying to stay, as you say, in a peak performance situation.
Stay sharp and be healthy.
Yeah.
It's similar to the last week in spring training. The first 3 weeks in March or up until about March 25th, and Bobby Cox certainly knows this, his 14th major league season. He was formerly with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Straight up first base, Rico Brogna. Here's the defense. Orsulak, Thompson, Everett in the outfield. Husky, Vizcaino, Kennett, Brogna the infield. Hundley and Telgheder the battery. 2 down. Base is empty. And Telgheder will face Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones 5 for 11 in this series. And as Tim said, a chance at Rookie of the Year honors. And they get bigger as the season goes along, or better, I should say.
Last Brave Rookie of the Year was David Justice back in 1990. And that last week in spring training, to complete that point, that's when you play your everyday lineup hoping to get ready for the season. You take that same approach when you clinch early, as the Braves have done.
You'll see most of the regular lineup in there in tonight's game for this team. David Telgheder, foul back by Jones. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 down, bases empty here in the first. Delighted to have you with us here tonight in Atlanta. There you see Dallas Green on the right. Bobby Wine, his bench coats with him, fouled off outside of first. They certainly have done a magnificent job. We've tried desperately to get answers from everybody on his status for next year, but nobody's talking. Joe McIlvaine just says we're going to do it at the end of the year. He's met with Dallas last week on the issue, and we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I'll tell you, whether Dallas is rehired or not, obviously that will, as you said, remain to be seen. But he has dispelled that myth that he can't work with young players. I think that's cleared up.
He's worked with these young players. Outside of third, hauled in. Good play by Husky getting back on it. Chipper Jones retired, and David Telgheder sets the Braves down 1-2-3. After one, no score in Atlanta. Now this word from Nissan.
This is a UPN 9 News update.
After the game, how the Knicks got Anthony Mason to stay in New York, who let some lions and tigers loose on the streets, and cops caught on tape having sex in the police station. Join us.
Jeff Mitchell, our producer-director, getting that fine shot.
That's a small strike zone right there.
Great eyes, though, huh? Come on, Mama, just 8. Greg Maddux goes to work here after retiring the Mets in order. He's got Kent Bronya and Todd Hundley up. Jeff Kent has had a 6-for-13 series. He has murdered Atlanta pitching this year, hitting .343 against Atlanta, leading the Mets with 8 RBIs against the Braves. Ow. Off the foot.
Not too many guys have these types of swings against Maddux. Jeff losing his balance. One thing about Maddux, too, if you have a swing like that, he will bust you inside and keep you honest.
Jeff's 5 for 25 lifetime against Greg Maddux. 0-2 delivery. Man. Maddux has already struck out 3. He's faced only 4.
This ball up in the strike zone. But remember, he just came inside to Jeff Kent. And it's a tough combination, too. You've got Charlie O'Brien with very soft hands. He frames the ball very well behind the plate. And this battery is not only is Maddux the best pitcher in the game, but with O'Brien back there, they certainly form the best battery.
It's charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Foul back by Rico Bronya. Rico trying to stay around that 300 mark, and doing so. He's got a shot and hitting 300 this year. Maddux down and into him. Quickly ahead on the count, 0-2. He's gone 4 for 13 in this series against Atlanta, but over the last 9 games hitting .389. Just reaches to protect the outside part of the plate, fouls it off, 2-strike count.
The one thing that left-handed hitters have to be aware of, and certainly Rico is that tailing fastball on which Maddux struck out Carl Everett. That's his strikeout pitch. This is a changeup right here. He'll waste it probably.
Got him. 4 strikeouts against 5 Met batters. And there are 2 down.
And he did waste it out of the strike zone, but he is so difficult to pick up. That's the changeup after the fastball was on the corner. I'll tell you, this guy is in some flow right now.
Just
awesome.
Murder.
Yep.
Todd Hundley, the switch hitter. Left-handers are hitting .193 against Maddux. Right-handers a whopping .203. He's given up 8 home runs this year. Right-handers have had 6 of them. Left-handers 2. 2 down, bases empty, no score here in the second. Greg Maddux missing with that one. 2 balls and no strikes on Todd Hundley. Todd has faced Maddux more than any other Met in the lineup. 13 for 44 against him. That is a foul ball. And if it hadn't been, Todd would have been embarrassed. He was in the batter's box.
I think he just assumed that ball was going to be foul, but the one guy who didn't assume it was going to be foul was Greg Maddux. Gold Glover on top of everything else. Excellent fielder. Guy really helps himself. Hundley didn't run, but Maddux did. See, that ball hit about 6 inches, and it was foul. And Todd's very happy that it was.
Gold Glover, Tim, and he's the #1 fielding pitcher this year again. swung on and foul tipped into the mid of O'Brien. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Todd Hundley. They say against a pitcher like Maddux, get to him early or you don't get to him. Well, Maddox's case is there's no getting to him early or middle or late. Inside. 3-2. There's only 2 losses. Ironically, came here at home. May 17th against Colorado, and then he was good enough to wait a month and a couple of months. Lost another game on August 9 against Cincinnati. Left center field not deep. Dwight Smith, the left fielder, has got it lined up and puts it away. So Maddux retires. The first 6 Mets with 4 strikeouts involved. No score in Atlanta. Now this from Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Take the live shot. Cue Liz.
If you want the story behind the story, catch Live Shot on Tuesdays, UPN 9.
Atlanta Braves averaging about 35,200 for their games this season. Their attendance will be down, but they're still going to draw 2.5 million people. And they haven't had much of a walk-up at all since they won the division title. There are still some tickets available for the League Championship Series, but they have sold out the World Series tickets if they get there. David Telgheder goes to work here against Fred McGriff. Justice and Dwight Smith will follow. McGriff 9th in the league in RBIs and 4th in slugging. 26 home runs for him on the year, and you see the 89 RBIs. McGriff, one of the game's better extra base hitters. 26 doubles, 26 home runs, and a triple.
If he makes it to 30 home runs, he will be the 7th player in Major League history to have 8 consecutive years of 30 home runs or more.
Right off the fist, Thompson was playing very deep, dives for it, and got it. Great catch, Ryan Thompson.
This is a dangerous play. You may remember Darryl Strawberry making a similar play going to his left at Shea Stadium about 7 or 8 years ago. Dislocated the ligament of his thumb, base of the thumb. But Ryan appears to be all right. Fine play by Ryan Thompson.
One of those that makes you cringe when you see that wrist turn over. Good play. Ryan was very deep, as he is now against Justice. David Justice with 1 down, nobody on. 6th in walk in the league, walks this year in the National League to go along with his power. He's looking for a 100-hit season, couple shy of that right now. Justice playing in his 112th game, out with some injuries. And there's a base hit. He's got 99. There's the first hit of the ball game, a 1-out single by Justice here in the 2nd inning. Still a mighty sweet swing. Justice on at first. That'll bring up Dwight Smith. Smith making the start in left field tonight for the Braves. He's gone 5 for 13 in this series. And he pops that one up shallow left. Joe Orsulak puts that one away. 1 pitch and Smith's retired on the fly ball to left. 2 down. 2 down. Justice still on at first base, and Charlie O'Brien the catcher. A much liked player by the Mets who were on the team when Charlie was playing for New York.
I think Charlie's got a shot at being a big league manager someday. He's got a great way about him. He's very intelligent. And being a catcher, you have the added advantage of not only being a hitter during your career, even though Charlie his main fort is defense, but you've handled pitchers, so it gives you a good balance of knowing pitchers and hitters. That's why it's often that catchers make the best managers.
I think he'd like to do that too. He
I do too.
Chats around it sometimes. I agree. I think he'd be a good one. 1-1 count. Justice back at first base. This Atlanta team, which has won the division on pitching, the best ERA, fewest home runs, all kinds of great pitching numbers. They are 12th in average and 8th in runs offensively. A little bit surprising that their numbers would be that low for the people who've been in the lineup. But again, part of that's that slow start they had this year. 1 ball, 2 strike count here on Charlie O'Brien. Justice being held by Rico Brogna at first.
Well, the Atlanta Braves offense is different than it was during their pennant-winning years. 92, 93, they won the division. 91 and 2 in the World Series. They don't have as much speed. You lose Deion Sanders and Ron Gant. That takes a lot of guys with the first and third opportunities, and a lot of RBIs that are picked up by guys like McGriff and David Justice on sac flies. Now they're almost a base-to-base type offense. They rely on the long ball a great deal.
Yep. Second in home runs in the league. Breaking ball, good one by Telgheder. Doesn't get the call, though. They also are a great clutch hitting team. They are number 1 in the National League in batting average with runners on and 2 outs. You get big hits. That's what the Braves have done. And a lot of those happen to be home runs. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Scoreless game. Telgheder checking Justice. Off Telgheder. Vizcaino, the barehanded chance, and he got him. Mercy continues that great year at short. Vizcaino, 1 single, 1 left on. Now this from Bell Atlantic. Maddux ready to go, and Butch Husky takes the pitch for a strike. Husky, Thompson, and Telgheder. Maddux has retired the first 6 Mets 4 strikeouts. Up to 172 Ks on the year now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Husky getting back into the lineup with that bad wrist that he had injured. Got back in here in this Atlanta series. Fouled off here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One of the many Mets will be battling for a position next season on this team. And the Mets look to him to deliver some power. Breaking ball slapped to second base. Mark Lemke. 1 down.
Well, an easy play by Mark Lemke, but it was not an easy play that ended the bottom of the second. Now, a barehanded pickup is really a misnomer. Look at Vizcaino. He lodges the ball between the thumb, the forefinger, and the middle finger. That's throwing position, and that's what makes that play so difficult. You not only have to catch it in the hand, you have to lodge it in those 3 fingers, 2 fingers and the thumb, to get in throwing position. One continuous motion, and Vizcaino did it beautifully. Great play.
Yep. Had a, as you said to me, reverse direction. Ended up going away from his throw.
Right.
He was heading towards the third baseline and had a throw back. Breaking ball misses outside. Ryan Thompson moved into the number 8 spot in the lineup against Maddux, who likes to work in a hurry and likes to be ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Thompson. Thompson 6 for 20 in his career against Maddux.
Have to protect away against a guy like Maddux here. O'Brien wants it up in the strike zone.
To short, Jeff Blauser. 2 down. He was out with an injury for a while. Got back in here last week. Plays a solid shortstop.
You don't see too many catchers on a ground ball pitcher holding a target that high. That ball was around the letters. O'Brien wanted it up, and Maddux threw it down, but still got us out. 8 in a row now, retired by Greg Maddux. It's not this easy.
No. Here's David Telgheder. Couple of hits and 5 at-bats for him this year. Fastball by Maddux is in. But as with all great artists, when performing, it looks easy. And that's Maddux.
Even glassmakers in Ireland, huh?
We were talking about that, yeah. I don't know why I thought of that. I got to see a glassmaker in Ireland doing crystal, actually making the crystal designs. It's like Maddux working. I went in 5 minutes. This guy had created this glass that had the Irish crosses on it and the Irish roses, and just did it standing there at the wheel working. Maddux is like that. He just comes out on the mound, and before you know it, you've lost. It's like, where did the game go?
And he often does it in about 5 minutes. Too.
Yeah, that's right. Mike Hirschbeck, home plate umpire, happy to have the toe guards on that time, as took a shot on that foul ball.
We're saying that about half in jest. You don't see a lot of the really great pitchers who work slowly. Most of them have a lot of confidence. They exude that confidence. Give me the ball. I know what I'm going to do.
He's going to strike him out. Breaking ball. 5 strikeouts. The first 9 retired by Maddux. We remain scoreless here in Atlanta. Now this from your local Dodge dealer.
Catch the stars at the New York Mets Baseball Heaven. The Mets official baseball fantasy for players 30 and above. It's 7 days of baseball as the pros live it, learn it, and play it at the Mets Port St. Lucie training facility. And it's all capped with a chance to match your skills on the field against the pros. The package includes uniforms, all baseball activities, airfare, and hotel accommodations. For more information, call 1-800-898-METS. That's 1-800-898-METS for Mets Baseball Heaven.
Folks, Fan Appreciation Day is coming up on Saturday, September 30th. Tickets will be drawn throughout the 1:40 Mets-Braves game. These same Braves and Mets will meet the next to the last day of the season for airline tickets, gift certificates, and many other great prizes. For tickets, you can call 718-507-TIXX during business hours or stop by the Mets clubhouse shops. A per-ticket surcharge applies. Fan Appreciation Day, Saturday, September 30th.
There's Maddux, who's retired. The first 9 faced 29-year-old right-hander going for his 18th win. He's been a rain day pitcher last 3 starts. 3 starts ago, he ended up getting rained out going for that 17th consecutive road win. Then he came back and pitched in a game where he had to wait for 2.5 hours for it to start and won his 17th consecutive road game. Then today it rained all day, and so far he's done no dance tonight, and it's not raining.
Gordon Lightfoot's song "Rainy Day People," huh? I guess you could. He was talking about Greg Maddux.
Don't much matter, I guess, whether it's raining or not.
No.
Telgheder goes to work against Jeff Blauser. Blauser, Maddux, and Grissom will be up. Blauser, as we said, the regular shortstop and a good one for this team, who played off the bench for a number of seasons. There was no way Bobby Cox was going to let this guy get away, because he knew the day was going to come when he would need Blauser in the infield, and that's now, and it works. Breaking ball by Telgheder. Good pitch. Home plate umpire Hirschbeck said he went around, a ball and 2 strikes.
We've talked so much about Greg Maddux. Dave Telgheder showing pretty good stuff himself. His best breaking ball of the year so far.
And set him up for the fastball on the outside corner. That's his 2nd strikeout. Blauser retired. David Telgheder spent most of the season, of course, at Norfolk. 7-4 in his career at the major league level, and 1-1 this year with the Mets. Here is Maddux. 8 hits, 66 at-bats, 9 hits and 67 at-bats. Into the corner goes Orsulak. Maddux, a stand-up double.
Scoreless ball game, and a double by the pitcher gets a standing ovation for Greg Maddux. Everybody here realizing it's been a one-man show for the most part so far tonight.
His first extra base hit of the season. He'd had 8 singles before this one.
Liner down the line. We mentioned his defense. Well, he also helps himself. He's a great bunter, great fielder, and shows he can handle the bat too.
That is the 2nd hit off Telgheder. First extra base hit. First runner at second base in the game. And now Marquise Grissom going to try and bring him home. 1 down. Grissom struck out his first time up. And David Telgheder evens it up in 1-1. Marquise Grissom at 289 this season with runners in scoring position. Very decent number for him. Tailgater's fastball tails in, and it's 2-1 on Marquise Grissom. Telgheder not a strikeout pitcher. Has walked only 5, striking out 16 now in the starts he's had with the Mets over 23 innings. Breaking ball. Did he go? First base umpire is going to have to make the call, and no, Larry Vanover. 3-1.
Hey, if you're a third base coach, there's Jimmy Williams right there. You're thinking about a base hit to the outfield, and you're taking no chances as far as scoring Greg Maddux. None.
Strike called. Grissom thought he had the base on balls. Unless Maddux can score walking in backwards.
You do not want your ace and the best pitcher in baseball sliding into a catcher when you've already clinched your division.
3-2. 1 away. Outfield deep on Grissom. And there's ball 4. First walk given up by Telgheder. Puts runners on at first and second with 1 away. And we'll bring up Mark Lemke.
That conference right there, Jose Vizcaíno wanting to know how Telgheder is going to pitch Mark Lemke, and that would give him an idea about who's going to cover on a ground ball back to the mound.
First and second occupied, and Lemke takes the strike. Lemke, during the 7-game hit streak that he is in, batting .400. Now he's had 12 hits in his 31 at-bats during the streak. Grounds that one to Rico Brogna. Has trouble twice, and Rico Brogna commits an error. The #1 fielding first baseman commits his 3rd error of the season to load the bases.
Not as unusual to see Rico Brogna make an error as it is the guy who hit the ball, Mark Lemke. Rico wanted to go to second base, and then he tried to recover to go to first and bobbled it.
Now David Telgheder with 1 away will face Chipper Jones. Bases loaded, no score. Hits it hard, fair ball down the line. Maddux will score. Around comes Grissom. Lemke will be held at third. It'll be a stand-up double. Ball goes free in the infield. Hundley tracks it down. The Braves have a 2-0 lead.
Double number 21 for Jones. RBIs number 83 and 84. Main competitor for Rookie of the Year is Hideo Nomo. Nomo has slumped the last month and a half. I think Jones should win it.
He is #1 among rookies in runs batted in.
Jimmy Williams wanted to wave Lemke around, and then he held him up at the last minute. Jones almost ran too far past second base.
Fred McGriff still just 1 away, a 2-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves on the bases loaded double by Chipper Jones, who is now 6 for 13 in this series against the Mets. Fred McGriff in an RBI situation. David Telgheder working out of the stretch. 0-2. Well, those were the kind of key hits we were talking about that Atlanta's picked up all year. They get people on. They don't leave them there. They get them home. 0-2 count, 1 away. Infield back. Stopped by Hundley as Telgheder bounced that one. A ball and 2 strikes. See his numbers. Runners in scoring position. Has had 49 RBIs. 31% at getting him home. .287 batting average in clutch situations. Telgheder with a 1-2 delivery. Missed outside with that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Costly error by Rico Brogna at first. Set up that bases loaded situation. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Slow chopper. Brogna only plays to the bag. Gets McGriff, but he'll be credited with an RBI as Mark Lemke comes across with the 3rd Atlanta run. 3-0 Braves.
Well, you might say, why didn't Dallas Green play the infield in that situation? You know you're not going to score a lot of runs off Maddux, but with McGriff hitting, you can't play your 3rd baseman in 3rd inning. You just got to hope that your offense can get to a guy that few offenses have gotten to.
Runner at 3rd base, 2 down now, and David Justice, who singled his first time up. McGriff now with 90 RBIs. David Justice trying to work his way out of a bit of a slump here of late. Has done so with 8 hits in his last 37 at-bats. Average has dipped down under the 260 mark for the moment for him. But he has gotten on base. He's had a good on base percentage because of the walks he's picked up. In the dirt, stopped by Todd Hundley, holding Chipper Jones at 3rd base. Another one of those big numbers. Big 2-out hits. Here's the 2-1. Curving deep down the left field line. It'll be a foul ball into the Mets bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Justice. Braves, having lost their last 2 here at home, now 41-27 at home, actually have won 3 more games on the road where they are 44-23. Just been a solid team all around. 2-2 by Telgheder. Breaking ball. Very close. 3-2. David looked back at the home plate umpire on that one. He thought that might have been in there. 3-2 count, 2 down. Kent. And they get the out. So Justice retired, but not before 3 runs score, and it all started with the pitcher Maddux getting a double. We'll be back after this from Apple Computers.
Kiss has one chance to mate, and it's Sunday on Star Trek Voyager, Sunday at 7.
Well, he's had some runs to work with this season as the Braves average over 4 runs per start for him, and they've picked up a 3-0 lead here. Tim McCarver. Now the Mets try and find a way.
Joe Orsulak leads it off. Greg Maddux has retired 9 in a row, and this one hits Maddux. Jones with the play to get him. Oh boy. And now the concern goes to Greg Maddux. Is he injured? That ball was smoked off the bat of Joe Orsulak, and the trainer out. Maddux appears to be all right. It looked like he didn't have time to get that glove up, and it hit him in the left chest area.
You know, Bobby Cox's heart stopped on this one. Orsulak got all of it towards that pitching arm, but it didn't hit. It didn't look like it hit his pitching arm. Hit somewhere around the chest side on the glove side of Maddux, and then Chipper Jones, what a play he made to come up with this and get the out.
So the way that is scored is 1-5-3. Brilliant play by Chipper Jones, and if Maddux pitches a no-hitter, this will be shown for a lot of years in this town.
Looked like it came off the chest, I think, Tim.
Looked like it. Rib cage. And a strike. to Jose Vizcaíno. Well, among a lot of things, Maddux has shown that he is certainly durable. Ground ball towards second. Lemke throws out Vizcaíno. I beg your pardon, Rafael Belliard is in there for Mark Lemke. Lemke has been nursing a hamstring, a bad left hamstring, so Belliard in there to replace him. But we were talking about it earlier. You take no chances if you're Bobby Cox when your team has already clinched the division. 2 out here in the 4th inning. Greg Maddux has been perfect through 3 2/3 innings. Carl Everett a strikeout victim in the 1st. 0-1 to Everett. Low, ball 1. 1-1 to Everett. 5 strikeouts for Greg Maddux. His career high is 11. Line drive, base hit center field. So Everett breaks up the no-hitter with a clean single to center, and that'll bring up Jeff Kent.
People who think we may be talking about that a little too early, it's not so much that he had retired those first 11, it's the way he did it.
The ease with which he did it. Yeah.
I mean, the Mets were not and aren't hitting the ball hard off him. Even that is off the end of the bat by Everett. So when you see that happening, you automatically, when you got a Maddux on the mound, think, maybe, but not tonight.
And Jeff Kent, the batter, with 2 out. Everett at first. 3-0 Braves here in the 4th. Outside, ball 1 to Jeff. You might think that a guy with Maddux's success, he is 148 and 93 for his career. You might think, well, that includes a lot of one-hitters. No no-hitters, no one-hitters, and didn't have a 2-hitter until this year. He has 2 this year. And the Mets held a 1 tonight, and that could be the second one. It's a fair ball. Everett to third, overrun by Belliard, but Rafael recovers in time to hold Everett to third. So 2 straight 2-out hits against Maddux, and that'll bring up Rico Brogna. Chance to atone for that error in the bottom of the 3rd.
That had the bite of a good 9-iron shot coming back to the pin that time, because that grass is wet in the outfield. When that ball hit, it just died right there. Keep that in mind on some ground ball hits here tonight. Outfielders are really going to have to charge the ball, because once it gets out there, it's not going to go very far. Turf has already been dug up a couple of times. This one right there, look at that. Stop. Didn't even go, I don't think, a couple of inches further.
3 feet from the pin. Brogna jammed on the play. Easy play for Belliard. So Maddux pitches out of trouble in the 4th inning. 3-0 Braves. We're back after this from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Three 3-0 Braves, bottom of the 4th inning. This game is brought to you by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers, and by your Tri-State Toyota dealer. I love what you do for me, Toyota. And Braves fans here in Atlanta love what Greg Maddux has done for them since signing as a free agent. His 3rd year with the Braves, 2 Cy Young awards, make that 3.
To me, it looked like it's the palm of his pitching hand is what he seems to be showing people in the dugout after he went in after that last half inning. So that ball may have caught the glove first, right down around the heel of the hand.
And his non-pitching hand, so he appears to be all right. 2-0 to Dwight Smith, who flied to left his first time up. Outside and low, ball 3, 3-0. Smith with the Angels last year, started his career with the Chicago Cubs. Hit deep to right center on the 3-0 count. Thompson back to make the catch. 1 out.
Well, that's the second outstanding play that Ryan Thompson has made in this game. One was coming in to haul one in on a backhanded catch off McGriff's bat. This one's going the other way and bouncing up against the wall as Dwight Smith, I think, thought he had one that time.
Charlie O'Brien, the batter. Strike 1 to Charlie. who hit a ball off the glove of Telgheder his first time up. It was one-handed by Vizcaino. And Jose threw O'Brien out. 0-2 now to the Braves catcher, Charlie O'Brien, with Atlanta up 3-0 here in the fourth. Ground ball, left side, Vizcaino again. Charlie O'Brien's got to say, I better try somebody else than this guy. 2 outs.
Well, he tried him coming in on the barehanded. Now he tries him deep in the hole.
He said he did. Well, I've got him in. Now hit it by him. No, sir.
Now, Charlie's not fast, and that helps the situation. But, folks, no matter who it is on this ball, it's another outstanding play. He's on the outfield grass. Never does right himself. Makes a jump throw, not on the hop, but on the fly to Rico Brogna.
And Jeff Blauser on the first pitch rifles one to left field. So Blauser a 2-out base runner, and that'll bring up Greg Maddux. Hit number 4 for the Braves. The Mets have a couple. As we take a look at our National League scoreboard. Key game there. The Rockies at 3Com Park tonight. My thoughts exactly. Candlestick Park, name changed to 3Com Park. Sounds like a park that the Moscow militants would play in. When the major leagues expand in the year 2018. This one drilled to left field. Maddux doubled his first time up, and he'll go to second this time. 2 doubles for Greg Maddux. Blauser stops at third. Ruther.
Times he has pulled the ball down the left field line. This one up in the strike zone, a hanger. That's a pretty good cut. He did not have an extra base hit in 66 at bats. He had 8 singles prior to tonight. Now he's 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. It's like a power hitter.
He chopped down on the high fastball, and that brought out the chop here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Marquise Grissom, the batter. He has walked and struck out. Slider is high, ball 1. This park will be raised after the 1996 season. Grissom is going to be walked intentionally. Rafael Belliard, you wonder why even one pitch was thrown. Belliard replacing Lemke. But the Atlanta Braves will move into the new structure across the street from Fulton County Stadium. It will be used for Olympic activities, the opening and closing ceremonies across the street next year. And then the Braves will play in that ballpark starting in 1997. But it will not be called a 3Com Park.
And it won't look the same either. They're going to, incredibly, they're going to tear down about a quarter of the seating. They have what are bleacher seats all the way around what will be the outfield. They're all coming down. And down the third baseline, there's a whole section of the stadium that's going to be torn down as well, so that baseball will seat about 50,000, a little under, I guess.
I guess the opening and closing ceremonies next year will seat about 90,000. About 40,000 seats will be removed, and Belliard grounds to Vizcaino. Wrong guy. Telgheder pitches out of trouble in the fourth, but it's still 3-0 Atlanta. We're back after this from AT&T. It's rather an appropriate score with Maddux on the mound. 3-0 Braves. Maddux has won 3 consecutive Cy Young Awards, and after this season, he will have won 4 consecutive Cy Young Awards as Todd Hundley leads it off here in the 5th inning. Todd flied to left his first time up, and he takes strike one. Started thinking about it today, Gary, and I called the Elias Sports Bureau wondering if anybody had won 4 of any kind of awards in any sport, as Hundley rips one to center field, third hit for the Mets. And Todd, the leadoff base runner, Butch Husky coming up. And gosh, it took Steve Hurt all of 5 minutes to find out. You guys are amazing. Now, Greg Maddux has won 3 consecutive Cy Young Awards. Bill Russell won 3 straight MVPs in the NBA, 61, 2, and 3. Chamberlain did it in 66, 7, and 8. And then Larry Bird in 84, 85, 86. Those were most valuable player awards. We're talking about awards, not statistical things like home run championships or anything like that. And you may have noticed that Wayne Gretzky has won the Hart Trophy in the National Hockey League 8 consecutive years from 80 to 87. This one popped up foul territory. Fred McGriff makes the catch. Butch Husky's out of there, and Ryan Thompson coming up. Others to excel in hockey. Bobby Orr won the MVP, the Hart Trophy, as the MVP in the National Hockey League. 70, 71, and 72. But he also won the Norris Trophy, the trophy for the best defensive hockey player in the NHL, from 68 to 75, 8 straight years. As Ryan Thompson's the batter, and he fouls it off, 0-1. Also, to me, a rather obscure name. A player for the Montreal Canadiens, Doug Harvey, from 55 to 58. I know it's not an obscure name to my partner, since Gary is the leading hockey announcer in the country.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you are. Well, you are.
He may have been the greatest defenseman ever to play the game, Doug Harvey.
That's what Steve was saying today. But he was an obscure player as far as I was concerned. So there you have it as far as consecutive anythings.
I would think, Timmy, that the difficult thing for the pitcher in winning the Cy Young Award year after year is that generally hitters also book pitchers. And after a while, you find something, some way, some process to come to the plate with after you've seen him for a couple of years that you can get a walk, get a couple of hits, get to him once in a while.
Yeah, you think that some hitters will say, well, I've got him now. It's 2-2 to Thompson. But he's always one step ahead of the hitters.
Year after year.
He knows that you know that he knows.
You're in trouble. And he knows that too. Worst part is you know that.
2-2, 1 out, 1 on, 3-0 Braves. Inside, ball 3, full count to Thompson. Doubtful that Hundley will be running. Thompson with a propensity to strike out as we look at our Toyota American League scoreboard. Important game at the stadium tonight. The Orioles beat the Tigers today. And Thompson flies to right center. Easy play for Marquise Grissom. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And pinch hitting for pitcher Dave Telgheder will be Damon Buford.
I do have to congratulate the Red Sox, their first title since '90, and they've been in first place since, we'll see whether it's a lucky 13 or not, since May 13. The Red Sox have been in that first place in the East, so congratulations to the Red Sox finally wrapping it up. Cincinnati's still got to wait. Their magic number is 1, and they are not playing tonight, so they'll have to wrap it up on the road.
Fastball in there to Damon Buford. Pinch hitting for Dave Telgheder. Dave worked 4 innings and deserved a better fate were it not for the rare error by Rico Brogna. That 3rd inning would have been different. Braves scored all 3 of their runs in that inning, and it's 0-2 to Damon Buford.
And only 1 earned run, Timmy. 2 of those runs are unearned, so it's a good outing, good performance, even though it's short for Dave Telgheder.
Just outside. Maddux had about a step and a half toward the dugout.
He doesn't do this very often. He is also one who does not show up umpires.
No.
Never has to.
Never has to, right?
But he really thought he had that one.
Well, Woody Allen put it best. He said that 80% of it is just showing up. And for Maddux, that's about right. 3-0 Braves. We're back after this from your Tri-State Toyota dealer.
This is a UPN 9 News Update.
After the game, will the Yanks gain ground in the wild card race? And how Don King acts as his fraud trial opens. Join us.
We have a new pitcher for the Mets, Dave Telgheder, going 4 innings. And since there's a break in the action, it ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because it won't fill you up and never let you down. So make it a Bud Light. Back in for the play-by-play. Here's Gary.
We are ready to go. Person will be on making the appearance for the New York Mets. Came up from Norfolk on September 14. Robert Person, as you see, finally getting his first major league action here in this series. And we'll have a chance to take a look at him here tonight. Made his debut with a couple of scoreless innings against Atlanta a couple of nights ago. He divided his time this year between AA and AAA, a combined 7 and 5 mark with 7 saves. And he's on here to take Chipper Jones on at the plate. McGriff and Justice will follow. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Mets trailing by 3. They have stranded 3 on 3 singles they have picked up against Greg Maddux. Person's fastball hit in the air to center, but right at Thompson. Chipper Jones, long fly ball, but it's a long way to deep center. He's retired. Jones out of there after he had the bases loaded double in his last at bat. 1 away in the 5th. Fred McGriff picked up an RBI in that 3rd inning when they scored the 3 runs. He got his on a ground ball out. So officially at the plate 0 for 2, flying out to center on an outstanding catch earlier in the game by Ryan Thompson. Chases heat up high that time. Strike 1. Mets with that 38 and 27 mark since the break have won 7 of their last 8 games. 2 above 500 at home, 10 below on the road. They will continue in Florida. Gary Darling says did not go around. Mets will open up a series. Reed Cornelius and Pat Rapp will be the starters in the game tomorrow night. Strike on the inside corner. We'll have the games on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, 7 o'clock on the air Saturday night. Bobby Jones and Chris Hammond. And 1:30 on Sunday afternoon, Dave Malicki and Ryan Bowen. Left center field, Joe Orsulak coming over and puts the fly ball away, and McGriff's retired. 2 down in the 5th inning. You see those numbers we mentioned earlier. The teams who have played the best baseball in the National League since the All-Star break are these 2 teams. Braves are first and the Mets are second. 2 away and the base is empty, and David Justice has picked up a single in 2 at-bats. Right-hander bounces that one. 4 division titles now for the Atlanta Braves. A couple of pennants. Attendance that's been up over the 3 million mark for them. They have had a magnificent run here over the last 5 years. And Bobby Cox obviously getting a great deal of credit for that, as he should. In his 6th year here, his team finished last in the division his first year, and then he went from last to first in the next and has never looked back. The only manager has won Manager of the Year in both leagues. Won it with Toronto and won it here in Atlanta. I thought interesting, Timmy, I was just looking today. His coaching staff, same staff he had since he arrived, with a couple who came in the 2nd year. Hopped up center field. Ryan Thompson over to left and in. And Justice is retired, and a good inning for Person, who sets the Mets down in order. Now this from your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer. Joe Orsulak swings and misses the first pitch from Maddux here in the 6th inning. Orsulak an 0 for 2. Maddux really rocking right now. That's a foul ball. He's taking no time between pitches, and a hit on the counts. 0-2 to Orsulak. Joe now 7 for 29 lifetime against Maddux in the lineup because he has faced Maddux and the left-handed hitter. Ball and 2 strikes. Got him to chase one. Won't do that very often. And Orsulak, another strikeout victim. That's 7 now for Maddux. 1 away in the 6th. Vizcaino and Everett due up. Maddux has not walked anybody, an incredible 23 walks, and he is now in his 201st inning pitched this year. Vizcaino draws the corners in, tries to slap it by third. Strike 1. Two. Mentioned how 2 coaches came a year into second year Bobby Cox's managerial return here. Jim Beecham, bench coach. Eddie Yost, the bullpen coach, had joined him in his 2nd season here when they started their winning ways. Slapped off Maddux again. Looked like it hit him in the back of the leg, and he didn't get it there in time. Wow. The 2nd time a Mets batter has hit a shot off Greg Maddux.
This ball looked like it hit him in the left heel. Yep, so credit Maddux with a skate save. He does recover in time. Strong throw to first, but Vizcaino beats it. So the 4th hit of the game, all singles off Maddux.
2 off Maddux.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, there have been 2 off Maddux, only 1 a hit.
That's right. 1 away. Mets trailing 3-0. And Everett, who has one of the hits, a single, takes it up high for a ball. One of the things Atlanta's done is to have a real consistency both in the front office and down on the field.
John Schuerholz, the general manager, certainly deserves at least part of the credit for the remarkable run of this franchise.
Came here in 1990 from Kansas City. O'Brien to first, Vizcaino back. And Schuerholz has had his contract extended through 99. Not bad.
Right, 99.
There's John. Congratulations everywhere for him, and well, there should be.
See, that guy was standing there for 5 innings waiting to have that synchronized. The minute you guys shaking hands with everybody. What's going on? I guess he's some fan that just heard about the contract extension.
We only paid him for 1 handshake, though. There's no extra involved in this.
No residuals.
He did wait well, and he was right on cue.
He was right on cue.
It's perfect. Here's the 2-0. Vizcaino's running, hit and run on. Chipper Jones only play at first. And he gets Everett. Vizcaino is going on the pitch, so he's down at second base. Everett retired.
Well, that's not a bad play. You've got a ground ball pitcher. You've got a guy who's always around the plate, and even though you trail by 3 runs, you've got to do something unusual against an unusually good pitcher. So Dallas Green puts the hit and run on. Carl Everett does put it in play on the ground. Almost beats the throw by Jones, too. It's close.
Good hard throw made by Chipper Jones. Jeff Kent, runner on at second base, 2 away. The 2nd time in the game the Mets have gotten a runner into scoring position. Everett was on third earlier. Vizcaino off and stealing, and there'll be no play. Maddux did not turn around and look. Blauser did not hold him close. And Vizcaino saw nothing but daylight. Stolen base. He was off and flying on that one. It's only the 7th player who's stolen a base against Maddux this year in 30 chances. Now Kent with 2 down towards Blauser. And Maddux just continues to work his way around it with ground balls. No runs, a base hit, and a runner left on. Braves still lead at 3-0. Now this from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. Very Greg Maddux, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Mets have stranded 4, a couple in scoring position. Our new Dodge quiz. Can you name any outfielder in Abbott and Costello's who's on first routine?
I think I know one of them. I think Tomorrow was one of them.
Was Tomorrow one of them?
I think.
Where did I don't know play?
He could have played in the. I don't know.
I don't. No. Where did he play? I think I don't know. May have been one of them.
Maybe may have been one of them.
And why?
Why was on third?
Why was on third?
I think.
Maybe.
Obviously, who's on first? I mean, that's the easy one. I don't know who's on third. We're getting help from the booth, naturally.
So who's the outfielder?
And we need it. Naturally.
Naturally was in the outfield.
Naturally was in the outfield. Right. Naturally. Was it naturally in center?
We got Y in left, because in center.
Because.
And who cares in right? That same old thing with right field. It's like those pickup games. You play right. Foul back. 3-ball, 2-strike count on Dwight Smith. Leading it off here. He is flying out twice deep to center his last time up. 25-year-old right-hander Robert Person on for the Mets. 3-2. Deep to right field. Way back, but it is a foul ball. All right, any of the outfielders at Abbott and Costello's who's on first routine? Answer is.
Oh, the left fielder was why? Because was center, right?
And the right fielder isn't mentioned. Swung on, foul tipped, and held on to. Person gets the strikeout.
Isn't mentioned's a funny name.
I don't recall that being used in the routine. Dwight Smith goes down swinging, and Robert Person gets the strikeout. Person was acquired from the Marlins back in '94 in a minor league trade. Pitched at Binghamton AA for the Mets last year and again this year before moving up, and his first major league appearance this season. And 6 years in the minors prior to this year without a major league appearance. Foul back by O'Brien, who's grounded out twice. Robert Person, born in Lowell, Mass, now lives in St. Louis and went to junior college out in Oklahoma at Seminole Junior College. Inside to him, 2 balls and 1 strike on O'Brien. Person working in a hurry. Husky at third. You could see that one coming. He'll make the turn. Orsolak will get it back in. It'll be an error on Butch Husky.
We could see it coming, but Butch couldn't. That ball an in-between hop, and you hear it so often that an infielder allows the ball to play him, and that's a perfect example of that. Got caught in between, didn't know whether to charge or stay back. Top spin over the glove, so an error on Butch Husky.
The second Mets error tonight. Atlanta took advantage of the first in the 3rd inning when they scored 3 runs, 2 unearned. Jeff Blauser is singled, pops this one up shallow right field. Jeff Kent, the second baseman, calls for it and puts it away. 2 down. Blauser retired, and the hitting pitching star Greg Maddux. Two doubles and a run scored in this game for Maddux. A 3-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves. Person's fastball misses, ball 1. Rico Brogna will move behind O'Brien at first. Maddux did go around to 1-1. Breaking ball right off the end of the bat. Cues that one foul. And Person goes ahead on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. New York Mets bullpen has been outstanding in the second half of the season that struggled so mightily early. It's been very consistent since the All-Star break. And strike 3 called. Person gets his second strikeout. A couple of very good innings for Robert Person. However, the Braves remain on top. Now this from Coke Classic.
The only way to get closer to the action is to be wearing a badge. LAPD.
Weeknights at 7:30 on UPN 9.
Take a look at the line score with the Mets leading in this 4-game series, but trailing in this ball game, and Tim McCarver to take you the rest of the way.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. As Rico Brogna steps up and fouls it back, we'd like for you to keep one thing in mind. We have entered into the field of the occult for Greg Maddux. Before that last pitch, had thrown 66 pitches through 6 innings. And we all know what 666 mean. 3 sixes. Nothing and 2 to Brogna. You know, maybe, Gary,
yes,
the only team that could overtake a guy like Maddux now would be the California Angels. Popped up, playable. Chipper Jones, foul territory, 1 out here in the 7th.
The way they're going right now, the last thing they want to see is Greg Maddux.
Oh boy, the California Angels, and it took us a while to get into that.
We worked at it, though.
Yes, we did. It didn't stop us. No.
Never does.
California has lost its last 7 games, and only one first-place team in this century had a longer losing streak during the month of September. In 1980, the Kansas City Royals, who were to eventually win the American League pennant and face the Phillies in the World Series, lost 8 in a row in September. California Angels are now tied with Seattle. Foul ball by Hundley. 1-1 to Todd. 1 out here in the 7th. 3-0 Braves. I mean, it has been a monumental collapse. At one time, Seattle was 12.5 behind the Angels in late August.
They've lost 25 of their last 33 games. They had an 11-game lead on August 9 that has disappeared during the streak that they entered into. And Harry Carey. You got to be careful with Harry now, but his comment the other night on television on the Angels was, if the team continues to play this way, Gene Autry is going to go join his horse.
Foul ball down the third baseline. And still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Of course, Champion died about 10 years ago. And I know you folks are familiar with the story, and if you're not, we'll tell it again. He called Roy Rogers, wanted to know how much it cost to mount Trigger. Roy said about $50,000, and Gene said, I think I'll bury Champion. Gene has never been too free with the Bucks until it came to baseball.
Yep.
And he has splurged on his California Angels since purchasing the team in 1961. And everybody pulling for the Cowboy as Todd Hundley goes down on strikes at his strikeout number 8 for Greg Maddux. 2 outs here in the 7th.
You see the deficits overcome to reach first place since the turn of the century. The Braves at the top of that list, and that 15-game deficit.
Braves came from last place, as a matter of fact, in 1914 to win it. Everybody familiar with the Yankees. Bucky Dent's home run. This one hit to right field, and Butch Husky is going to be retired as Maddux has another easy inning. Still 3-0 Braves. We're back after this from International Paper. 3-0 Braves, bottom of the 7th inning. As Robert Person is on the mound in relief of Dave Telgheder, Marquise Grissom on the first pitch lifts one down the right field line. Bronya giving chase to make the play. Terrific play by Rico Bronya. One out here in the 7th.
That is a huge run. The foul territory extends into the bullpen, the Atlanta bullpen in this case, where Rico Bronya is headed. And he's got that tarpaulin wrap he's got to watch out for. Great play with his back to home plate.
Got to get per diem for a trip like this.
2 days.
Yeah. A lot of room in this ballpark in foul territory as Rafael Belliard is the batter, and he fouls it back. 0-1 to Belliard, who came in the game in the 4th inning for Mark Lemke. We have not had word what is wrong with Lemke, but we assumed that it was his left hamstring. It's been giving him problems all year. Bobby Cox taking no chances. Belliard with a single up the middle. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, LP, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, LP, is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, likewise prohibited. As Larry Wayne Jones steps up. Chipper Jones 1 for 3 on the evening, and he takes a changeup from Person. That is high. Ball 1 to Chipper Jones.
We mentioned Jones first in RBIs for rookies. He's also first among rookies in home runs. Another category, maybe even more impressive, is that overall, not just for rookies, but in the National League, he is 3rd in go-ahead RBIs. That's clutch hitting for anybody, much less a guy who's in his rookie year.
And a guy who laid out all of the 1994 season. As a matter of fact, his injury came in Port St. Lucie, a game that we did last spring. And at the time, you didn't think it was serious. And 2 or 3 days later, he went under the knife, trying to avoid a tag at first base. That's how he blew his right medial collateral. That's the part of the knee that's on the inside. A lot of players will strain it with slides, or a lot of catchers have hyperextended medial collaterals, but his was just ripped in 2, operated on, and missed the whole year. Out of play, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chipper Jones. Ball 3. Full count to Jones. We'll see if Belliard is off. Probably. There goes Belliard. Fastball hit to right field. Back and over now is Everett, holding out his right hand, warding off Thompson. Perhaps 2 outs. And Fred McGriff coming up. Mets travel to Florida after the game tonight. Take a charter flight down to Miami, about an hour and a half southeast. Play the Marlins for 3 games, and then back at Shea next week to wrap it up for 95. Fouled away. The Braves will play at Shea Stadium the last weekend of the season, and then Sunday night they will be headed to either Los Angeles. Well, I guess they'll come back here, and then either the Dodgers or the Rockies will be playing the Braves, since the Western Division. No, that's not right. This one hit to right field and deep. Everett is back, and Everett makes the catch. He gave it a ride, but Everett made the play. We'll explain that playoff picture for you right after this message on our Honda line score. 3-0 Braves. We'll be right back.
Guys in the majors have a lot of different things in their locker, like gloves, bats. Me, I got these change of address forms. You can pick them up at any post office. These bring back a lot of memories. Oakland, Montreal, 95 Ram McNally. Realtors, most major markets. I got this ball from Eckersley when I played in Oakland. Not really from Eckersley, but from a vendor. Baltimore.
Top of the 8th inning, Greg Maddux with a 3-0 lead. Greg has struck out 8 in this game and has given up 4 singles. Only 4 base runners and only 1 base runner. Make that 2 base runners that have reached third base. Vizcaíno in the 6th, Everett in the 4th. And Ryan Thompson takes low and now hits it off the end of the bat. Justice broke back, now in, and he can't make the play. Thompson running hard all the way goes to second, and probably a double for Ryan Thompson.
Yeah, David Justice just did not get the jump on the ball here off the bat. Misjudged it. He started backwards, then had a huge run. Tried. You see him calling off the second baseman Belliard, and he flipped it all the way back into the infield. It ended up rolling all the way into second base. Now he took 2 steps back here. That's why he's charging so hard at the end of this. Watch the ball all the way back to second.
Edgardo Alfonso pinch hitting for Robert Preston, or Person, I beg your pardon. There's Ryan Thompson running hard all the way. He wanted to stop at first. Now he sees second base is unprotected, so he walks into second. I was thinking of the Music Man.
I was going to say.
High to Alfonso, 1-1 to Edgardo Alfonso, and a good job by Robert Person, who pitched 3 scoreless innings in relief of Dave Telgheder.
Gave up only 1 hit and struck out 2. He looked good.
Fouled away, a ball and 2 strikes. We were right the first time in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Braves will be on the road the first 2 games because they do have the home field advantage. So they will leave New York and go to either Colorado, Los Angeles, or Cincinnati, as Pete Walker will be the pitcher in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Edgardo Alfonso, and the breaking ball outside. 2-2 to Edgardo.
Most players won't talk about who they'd rather face in the playoffs, but Dave Justice said the other day he'd rather it be Los Angeles, Colorado rather, because Los Angeles has played them tough. They're 6-6 against LA, 4-5 against Colorado.
Inside to Alfonso, full count to Edgardo. Yeah, I think the Dodgers starters match up a little better against the Braves than Colorado.
It's asking you, Timmy, between innings. That's kind of it's not a choice, but if you had a choice in a 5-game series, a 2-3 set, would you want to start at home or on the road?
Well, lined foul. I think a slight edge is given if you have the 2 games at home. I think the chances of you winning 2 in a row, and this is an arguable point, but with pitchers like Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tommy Glavine, I think the chances of going 2 up here are better than going 2 up or even 1-1 in an opposition's park. Nice play by McGriff. That ball was a fair ball, by the way. So Alfonso out and Joe Orsulak coming up.
Ran into Rafael Belliard. That's the second baseman coming over behind him. Normally the second baseman would call off the first baseman, but when You're about half the size of the first baseman. If he wants it, he gets it.
Right. Never reaches you.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. That is a tough call on that playoff situation.
I mean, the whole home field advantage is given in the best 3 out of 5 series is given to the team in games 3, 4, and 5. But if they come home down 0-2, that means they'd have to win 3 in a row, obviously.
Yeah. And again, it's not a choice. The decision had already been made before the season started. So the teams didn't choose that. That's the way the league said it would be played.
Ball and no strikes to Joe Orsulak, who's been known to bunt in this situation. He taps it back to the mound, and Maddux makes the play. Thompson to third, 2 outs. Hey, look at the Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary. 5 hits for the Mets, only 1 extra base hit, a double by Ryan Thompson. A key error in the 3rd inning by Rico Bronya, a key error, and an obviously rare error by a slick fielding first baseman. Greg Maddux has been the story tonight. He has 2 doubles. Chipper Jones with a 2-run double in the 3rd, and Fred McGriff driving in the other run. Vizcaino fouls it back, 0-1 to Jose. Balls and 2 strikes now to Vizcaino. Strike 3 called. We told you earlier about that tailing fastball. Maddux has 3 left-handers tonight on that pitch. We'll be back after this from your local Dodge dealer.
This is a UPN 9 News update.
Coming up on UPN 9 News, the cops caught on videotape having sex right in their own police station. Also, a gang member on parole is busted, charged in the wrong-turn shooting death of a 3-year-old. Then what George Steinbrenner is saying about plans to build a baseball stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands. And are his Yankees gaining any ground in the wild card race? I'm Sean Mooney. Join us after the game.
Nine strikeouts for Greg Maddux. 3 of the strikeouts called on left-handers on this pitch. And perhaps you caught an earlier telecast when Maddux pitched against the Mets this year, and we talked about how Greg Maddux can make X's on the plate. Left-handed batter up, he throws the tailing fastball and the breaking ball that catches the outside corner. The pitch that Vizcaino took was the pitch that comes in, the left-hander gives up on it, and then he runs the fastball in on the left-hander, thereby making X's on the corners. And that largely responsible for the success, remarkable success of Greg Maddux. And Pete Walker is 2 balls and no strikes to David Justice.
And again, consistently does that. I mean, that's what's so amazing. At game after game, year after year, he marks those spots and just keeps throwing it that way.
David Justice, a ground ball to Vizcaino, 1 out here in the 8th inning. As we take a look at Pete Walker, the 3rd Met pitcher of the night.
Walker, the 26-year-old, had been with the Mets earlier this season, spent most of it, though, at AAA, at a very brief time up during the middle of the season. Walker had 34 appearances at Norfolk, only 1 as a starter. Those are his numbers for the Mets this year, and 2 occasions being up.
White Smith takes a strike from Pete, 0-1 to Smith, who is 0 for 3 on the evening. 1-1 to Smith, and Mark Wohlers is up and throwing. He may be the pitcher in the 9th inning. Even though Maddux has the shutout, but this game is just a tune-up for the Braves for postseason. This game and the rest of the games for the next week and a half.
And that's another guy Bobby Cox wants to keep sharp because he has become the save man out of the bullpen for them this year.
Ground ball, 1 hopper, Walker. Throws out Smith. 2 outs. Phillies over the Marlins. Remember, the Mets are 2.5 behind the Phillies. Phillies in second place in the National League East. Key game, Rockies at San Francisco. Charlie O'Brien lifts it to shallow center. Easy play for Ryan Thompson, loping in. And he makes the play. An easy inning also for Pete Walker. But the Mets trail 3-0. We go to the 9th after this from American Express. Mets, of course, wrap up this road trip with 3 in Florida, and day in and day out, at home or on the road. You can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. Won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light.
Well, for Maddux, 8 strong innings. Mark Wohlers will come on to wrap it up for him. Maddux gave up just 5 hits. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 9. His ERA went from 1.75 to 1.69.
Trying to become the first pitcher since Walter Johnson in 1918 and 1919 to have 2 consecutive years with an ERA under 1.80.
He's well on his way to that mark.
He is. Yep.
Mark Wohlers has taken over as the savior man for the Braves. 21 consecutive saves at one point this year. He throws heat, and he's been throwing it for strikes this year.
So Wohlers will face Carl Everett leading off the 9th inning. The Mets trail 3-0. Carl 1 for 3 on the night. Nothing in 1 to Carl Everett with Jeff Kent on deck. Wanted to bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. 1-1 to Carl Everett. Oh, off the right foot of Mark Hirschbeck. You may not know this, folks, but umpires do have shin guards on underneath their pants. That's why they go to that tailor that gives them baggy pants. These are tailor-made fools, or tailor-made pants. Tailor made a fool out of you. That's what I was going to say. Tailor-made a fool of you. Of course, you don't wear those off the field, but they're big enough to fit those shin guards underneath there. That's why they get them oversized.
Tailor-made.
Tailor-made. One ball, 2 strikes to Carl Everett. See if Everett tries to go to left field. That's been one of the big improvements in his batting style since his return, but he takes the breaking ball from Wohlers. 1 out here in the 9th.
Wohlers had only 7 career major league saves prior to this year, and one of the big question marks for the Atlanta Braves coming into this season was who would be the stopper, or would it have to be by committee? Well, he has answered that question for Bobby Cox this year.
Jeff Kent, the batter. Kent 1 for 3, and he pops it up. Shallow right field, Belliard back, now in, 2 outs. Now, confidence has so much to do with a young pitcher. Wohlers is only 24 years old. Even though he's been around a few years, a lot of people lose sight of the fact that he's still a very young pitcher. Rico Brogna, the batter. Blazing fastball, 1 strike. inside. Ball 1. 1-1 to Rico Brogna. Catch up with the high fastball. A ball and 2 strikes to Rico. Wohlers has been clocked at 100 miles an hour. He can throw as hard as anybody in the game. Two and 2 to Brogna. How fast is 100 miles an hour? You folks listening in, just think about it. If you've ever driven 100 miles an hour, how terrified you are when you're in a car going that fast.
How terrified at the plate when it's coming at you.
Right. Fly ball left field. Foul territory. And Dwight Smith one-hands it for the 3rd out. Final out of this ball game. Greg Maddux is now 18 and 2. Mark Wohlers was save number 25 on the year. Not only is he effective, but nobody makes it look easier than Maddux. Gary and I will be right back after this from Roy Rogers. 3-0. The Braves beat the Mets. Mets splitting the 4-game series. They head to Florida. But back in 1984, a young, frail, professorial man, bespectacled gentleman, graduated from Valley High in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm sure in his high school annual, somebody had to write, Greg, you're the most likely to succeed from this class. Well, has he ever succeeded?
18 and 2 on the season. Our Budweiser player of the game, Greg Maddux, 8 innings, no runs, 5 hits, struck out 9, did not walk a batter. He's now 2-0 against the Mets this season and 19 and 10 in his career.
18 and 2. We'll be right back with more of the wrap up right after this from Dodge.
They got to his family.
Has the jury reached its verdict?
They got to the law.
We find the defendant not guilty of all charges.
Back off! You're finished, man!
Now, Lieutenant Mike Land will go to the ends of the earth to settle the score.
I can bring him down.
For a Dryer Stars, in a 2-hour world premiere movie, Land's End.
Special 2-hour premiere, Friday at 8 on UPN 9.
And there's the final as the Atlanta Braves and Mets split this 4-game series. 3-0 in this one for the Braves. Mets Baseball 95 has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. By the new Sunoco MasterCard that can earn you free Sunoco gasoline. And by Bell Atlantic. The Yellow Pages, 9 out of 10 people use the genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. We invite you to be with us again on Saturday night at 7 o'clock when the Mets will be hosting the Florida Marlins. Gary Sheffield will be there for the Marlins. Closed captioning of tonight's game has been sponsored by your Tri-State Toyota dealer. Mets Baseball 95 is produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. The associate producer is Steve Olbaum. Our executive producer is Rick Miner. This has been a presentation of WWOR TV, UPN 9 Sports. For Tim McCarver and all of our crew in Atlanta, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us, and good night, everybody.